Well, it's Wednesday, and we are back to another episode of Wednesday Night Live. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do a positive show tonight, so share your stories with us. Share some success stories with that you've helped other people. A vape shop did something special for you. Anything like that you have in the chat, share it with us in the chat, because tonight I want to be positive. There's a lot of shows that have a lot of negative stuff on it, and I figured today we're just going to kind of stick to the good side of vaping. Right, guys?
There's always a good side to vaping. I figured I'd ask the question, though. Like, I guess that means I'm not doing the news tonight.
No, we still have to have news.
Okay.
We still need to be informed. But I kind of wanted to stick on to the positive side. We're always talking about this stopping, this flavor going away, this company not doing PTMAs, all that nonsense. So I just wanted to do a show today and talk about our journeys and our challenges that we went through ourselves, how we helped other individuals quit vaping, stuff like that. And let's say hello to this amazing cast here. Let's start with Tom. Fuck you, Harding. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. And Tim, when you read the news, you read it in a really positive tone.
Yeah, I'll read it in an upbeat tone. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. How you
I
doing,
am
Tom?
doing great. Getting ready to leave town for a couple days. Go do some camping, do some working, make some money, get some color so I'm not whiter than mayo. Should be fun. Hi, chat.
Hey, chat.
Yes.
Hi, John. Hi, Tim.
What's up, Bunch? What's up, you?
Hi, Brian, and your fancy-ass polo. You weirdo. Yeah. I have a thing against polos, man. I don't like them. They're weird.
I don't wear them.
I can't
Look at
think
me.
of
Has anybody ever seen me on a show with anything other than a tank top? Y'all are lucky that I at least scale up.
Well, I'm your friend.
Anything with sleeves.
Yeah, well, we're his friend on Facebook, so we do see him dressed up from time to time. So we have seen you without
to concerts and stuff. He'll put on a shirt with sleeves.
Yeah, but not on the show though. I don't think I've never done the show with anything less.
It's not even a T-shirt, man.
All right, chat out there. Let's have a poll. Give me X1 for Tim to wear a suit next Wednesday. Tim to wear a suit and tie. If you want Tim to wear
fits.
If you want Tim to
X1 in that one.
If you want Tim to wear a suit and tie next week, X1 in the comments. So
I'll definitely X1 that
That's too
one.
much light. I'm ugly and too much light.
Brian,
I gotta look a little demure.
How is Mr. Power?
Not too bad, man. Nice relaxing day today. I actually had the day off, so got to actually play some video games for a little bit today. So that's pretty fun. Mowing the lawn.
She had the day.
And you chose to wear a polo? Why?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You didn't have the wife mow the lawn? Come on.
No,
we
she was
talked
working.
about this, Brian.
She was working.
All right.
She was working around
Making you a
this
sandwich?
Yeah. No, I actually wore a brown
I
T-shirt.
knew
when I went to
so
lawn.
would
Yeah.
say.
Tim doesn't own a suit or tie, but he puts X1 anyway.
Well, Mallory, Tim had sleeves, just not cloth.
True.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you. That's
True.
That's how I dress up with tattoos.
You had the day off, but you had daddy duties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know those.
Were you rocking the jorts in the New Balance?
Oh, God. The jean shorts. I know Brian owns jean shorts.
No, I don't. Oh,
No,
wait.
you don't?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Not very many of them. A lot of them are cargo shorts.
That's all right. You keep the what is the saying? Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yep.
Isn't that the saying? There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty hot today. It's still like 91 degrees outside right now. So
I really
Still
had
pretty
no
warm.
clue. I had no clue you guys ever got that hot up there. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I thought you guys kind of hit 80s, 85 maybe max, but I didn't realize you guys got that cold.
It'll get up to 100
Yeah.
for like
usually
2-3 days, and then it's gone.
yeah, so, August, September is usually our hottest days. Usually end of August, beginning of September. It's usually when it gets around a little over hundreds.
And then the bottom falls out, and it's freezing ass cold for
and then like
3
3
months.
Yeah, 3 months later, it's like negative 40.
What did the moose start? What, they migrate north or what?
No,
They stick around? I didn't think.
yeah, all the animals stay put. I mean, except for the geese, we get to watch them go back and forth. But
And the ducks.
yeah, and the ducks.
And the ducks.
Yeah,
And we got Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmy.
So I wanted to say thank you, Corey. Thank you for uplifting my spirits.
You're not ugly.
After I tried to break myself down. Clarity. I in too much light. Like I'm a rocker, so I kind of like, you can already tell I like that stage look, where you got like, cool lights around you and stuff like that. But when you put like a blazing white light in my face,
No.
that reminds me of getting pulled over a couple times. But yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing well. I've been working really hard on a client's website, and so by the time I am done, my eyes have burned out of my skull. So these glasses, I think I've probably set a couple fires. So anyway,
Tim is becoming a web. What is the term for a web designer?
Web developer.
well, I kind of like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But I've over the years I've built a few websites for people. Yeah. I took some courses. Trust me, guys, I'm not like writing HTML code and JavaScript from the ground up. I'm not like dungeon dwelling.
DM Tim if you want your web-based design.
Right. I'm basically building them in WordPress, but this client I've been working with, they're an upstart, and the clients they work with have really set the bar. Well, their bar is pretty
Mike,
low.
He does.
Yeah, yeah,
$5.99.
exactly. I show my boobies on OnlyFans. No, but it's just they set the bands have set the bar for themselves very low, whereas I'm trying to set the bar pretty high for this client, and so I'm having to triage a lot of bands into making them look better on a website. So it's been challenging, but the solace in all is there's vape. And vape will get you through. That is the God's honest truth.
That is right. We're going to start with the poll right off the bat and get that out of the way, because I always fucking forget the poll. And then it's like after the show, like 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot to do the poll, man. So we're going to jump into the poll. Everybody in chat, we just want to know, did your parents smoke, when you were a teenager? Or if they still smoke today, well, let us know. And let me pull that up here real quick. Share screen, boom, boom. And let me blow it up. Tim, did you already change your thingy?
I did. I corrected my previous answer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a simple question. We wanted to know if your parents smoked, and on the ZampleBox family member page, we had a 69 to 26. So my parents didn't smoke. Either one of my parents didn't smoke. So, and Tom, where were you on that one? I didn't see if...
Yes, my dad smoked up until the day he died.
Oh, today. And Tim, you said he did, but...
My dad at one point did, but had stopped before I was conscious of the fact that he had ever even done it. So when he did it the one time, I was a little freaked out. Yeah. But yeah, not my mom.
Not your mom.
No.
Brian, your parents were smokers. I saw yours, right?
Yep. Yeah, both of them. Though actually, they still smoke. Most of my family did, actually. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, most of my family did. Well, no, I was reacting to Tim. Yeah, most of my family did. Some have actually quit, but most of them still do. Like my aunts and uncles and my folks, and my sister doesn't. She's never done it. Some of my cousins do, not all of them. But like my dad's, he's had like 2 heart attacks, but he still smokes. So
yeah. But now here's why I did this poll, and it was to see if did your parents influence you in any way to be a smoker?
That was going to be a follow-up question for me.
Yeah, and we'll just start from
Can I answer?
Yeah, go, Timmy.
No, they did not, and I think primarily because I was not exposed to them being smokers, as a child growing up. Other than, like I said, like that one time that my dad lit one up, and he didn't light it up to smoke it. I'll just be clear for the chat group. We were at the beach and we were setting off fireworks, and he didn't have a lighter or matches, so he borrowed a cigarette from one of the people that was standing close to us, lighting off sparklers or whatever we were lighting off. and it freaked me out. I was like, well, you don't smoke. And then that's when he broke the news that he had a long, long time ago, but he put it down. Now, fast forward that he did smoke pipes often as a kid, and I was used to that. But that, you don't really inhale. You just kind of puff on it, and like a cigar or something like that. So it was just weird to see him smoke a cigarette. But I don't feel that it influenced me. Even him as a pipe smoker, I don't think that had anything to do with me starting up. I was always like, no, I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to smoke. And then when I was like 14 or 15, I was having a bad day.
I was having a bad day.
Yeah, and I ran into one of my buddies who was walking around the neighborhood around the same time I was, and he had a pack, and so I'm like, let me try one. And so I blame my friend, not my parents.
Yeah. I think most of us are going to fall into that category, even with the parents that did smoke, I think we may have used them more as a store than, say, an influence. So, Tom, how about you? Did your dad?
Yes. In fact, I stole my first cigarette from my dad. And I thought he didn't know. Yeah, I found out he does. He did.
I don't have any Pornhub bookmarks out there.
Those are all on the screen you can't see.
I think Maury determined that you're being deceptive.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it was the first cigarette I ever had was a Pall Mall non-filter.
Really? You went non-filter right out of the gate. I did non-filtered
That's
Camels
what my dad smoked
for a little while. And Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
I was hanging
Pall
around
Mall.
I was hanging around the punk rockers, and they all had unfiltered Camels and Lucky Strikes because they had to be cool.
I tried the unfiltered Camels too. Those things about killed me. Then I switched to Marbs.
Filtered or unfiltered?
Filtered.
Yeah. My first one was a Cowboy Killer. I remember that. And then eventually, somehow I transitioned into menthol. I think every once in a while we would go from like regular ones, like we would do Marlboros or Camels or something to that effect. And then every once in a while we would get like Salem's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they would change on a night.
Yeah, my dad used to smoke those too.
Yeah.
And when
Hey, Cloud Queen.
Hey, Cloud Queen.
Hey, Cloud.
Good to see you.
Congrats, Corey, on dropping your nicotine down to 3, buddy. I float. I'm somewhere. I got 3 Xan 6s. So.
Yeah.
Well, I lied. I have this shit too.
Well, everybody knows mine. I stole my first cigarette from a priest, so I'm going directly to hell for that one.
Oh,
so.
100%.
That's my
Hey,
grandson.
Frank's calling.
Frank's calling.
That's my grandson calling.
Well, answer it. We'll wait.
Answer it. I want to see what's going to happen.
It won't. It'll just shut me off. But hey, Jackson, I have to call you back, buddy. I'm on my show, okay? All right, Bubbas. Love you. He likes doing the faces. I'll call you back, okay, Bub? Okay. All right, Frank. Bye. No, if I answer it on the computer, it'll shut me down.
Always
So we just say, minor technical difficulty.
Cloud Queen, what did your parents smoke, and did they influence you in being a smoker? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, anybody else out there? I mean, mine was my brother. I just couldn't take it anymore. We were going cruising up and down McHenry, and because I was the youngest, I had to sit in the back seat. So they were both smoking up front, and it was just blowing back there. And finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm done. Just give me one of those damn things. If I'm going to sit back here and inhale all this, I might as well be smoking. And I wish I wouldn't have ever done it because I didn't quit from that day on. I was hooked.
Yeah, I think we all kind of fell down that wormhole, though. Because, I mean, it was like it was to be a little scandalous at first. Do something that we shouldn't be doing. It was kind of started that way. And then before you know it, you're buying your own pack. But remember, too, John, you and I are the same age.
Yeah.
So we picked. When did you start? Wait, how old were you when you started?
I was 14.
Okay, so
14,
about the same age,
yeah,
too.
14, 15.
And I think at that time, you and I could start buying cigarettes at 16.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, we weren't that far off from being able to obtain them legally without any, we didn't have to sneak around. We didn't have to get somebody to buy them for us. I mean, for a couple years, yeah, somebody was always able to get their hands on them or something like that.
Pure pressure.
Yeah, say 14 as well. See,
Yeah.
14 seems to be the trigger age
Yeah.
Yeah, I
for
was
trying
13.
most things, or 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, right in that 12 to 14 range.
Well, that's what's shocking to me to see the numbers that we see today. Because I mean, the last thing I was thinking about doing in 7th and 8th grade was smoking a cigarette. And to see the numbers that they're producing for that age group as being so high, it just seems like it's just weird. I don't know, maybe we're just a different time and era for us back then, but it just didn't seem like I wasn't interested in that. There was
Yeah.
so much going on in our lives. And
Right.
I never saw it become a factor at that point. If I remember anything, there was always like when I was in like elementary school, I remember there being like a couple of those like guys that were kind of like the problem kids, the kids that were always stirring shit up and causing trouble. One kid's name sounded like he walked right out of a sitcom. It wasn't his real name. His name at school was Shrimp Timbetus. I kid you not. His name was Shrimp Timbetus. His real last name is Timbetus. I don't remember his real first name, but everybody called him because he was this tiny little guy.
Yeah.
So Shrimp. So he got the nickname Shrimp. So Shrimp Timbetus. And he always smelled like a cigarette. And then his buddy Johnny Halte, he always smelled like a cigarette. And like there was only those two. But
Yeah.
like me, no. And then it wasn't until like, early high school that I finally started getting into it. I think kids are just trying stuff at younger ages now. I think the youth is different.
I mean, we had to ride our bikes everywhere, so I didn't think smoking was a good idea at that
Yeah.
time.
You guys had to run away from dinosaurs.
No, I mean, shit. We literally rode our bikes everywhere at that age. Now kids, they're just like, "Hey, pick me up. Hey, I need a ride. Hey, no one ride. I don't see anybody riding a bike anymore. I don't see kids riding bikes at all. So everybody's getting rides everywhere. So I guess they could start earlier. They don't need the lung capacity we did when we were.
I would be surprised if kids nowadays knew how to ride a bike.
I taught all my kids right away. I said, this training wheel thing sucks. They need to come off as ASAP, man. So I just took them off, let them ride for about 2 or 3 days, and about the 3rd or 4th day, I took those things off, man. I couldn't stand the sound of them. Click, 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 click. Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you, John.
Yeah.
The preacher you stole the cigarette from, was that Cloud's parents?
Whose? No. Matter of fact, that priest that I stole the cigarettes from, didn't know. I went to confession that Wednesday, and he was the priest in the box, so you can't see the priest. And when I went in there to confess I stole cigarettes from the priest, he's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
Busted.
Busted. I felt so bad. I was like, "Oh man." But yeah, after that happened, he no longer kind of he was the priest that had them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They were everywhere. I mean, they were, never on the altar. I won't say that. They were never on the altar, but they were like around the altar. There was a pack here. There was a pack in the back. There was a pack where the wine was. There was a pack where, where we got dressed. I mean, there were cigarettes everywhere. So it was just like a matter of time. Somebody was going to pick one up and smoke it.
I'm sure you probably weren't the first one to do it either.
No, yeah, and I was a younger altar boy, so I'm sure some of the older boys were stealing his cigarettes. But after I did my confession, never saw a pack of cigarettes again anywhere in around. They were always in his shirt pocket because he realized that we were all stealing cigarettes from him. That was the dummy that was stupid enough to confess it, It's like, yeah, I can't go to hell for this. I got to confess this.
Yeah, I didn't have that avenue. I had to just pal up. My friends always seemed to have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know where they were getting them from, but they always seemed to have them. So I think maybe I finally started having them maybe buy me a pack. I just feel like I always had them on me or something like that. I'm shocked to this day that my parents didn't ever identify or recognize that I had started. Because I don't ever remember being cornered like my mom going, I was washing your clothes and they smell an awful lot like cigarettes. I'm sure I lied my way out of it if they did anyway.
Yeah.
But never came in and they were like, oh, you smell like cigarettes or anything like that. And you would think that in a non-smoking home, They would recognize it really quick.
Right.
Yeah.
But I never had that experience with
Well,
them.
perhaps you were really good at disguising the smell.
I don't know. It may have had something to do with the fact that my dad was a pipe smoker too, although that has a unique and different smell as well. You know, like Mike was saying, you know, he loves the smell of pipe tobacco. Well, my dad worked for American Tobacco for a number of years as an outside salesman. So we had this little shitty blue Chevy Nova with vinyl seats. I remember that. It wasn't like it was more like rubber. It wasn't even like I don't even know what the material was. It wasn't like Naugahyde or anything like that. It was this horrible material.
It leather?
No. It literally was more like a rubber. It kind of had a texture to it, like that like Annie skid that you'd have like on the bottom of your shoes.
I thought Tom was gonna say some dinosaur name, dude. I for sure thought when he was like getting ready to speak, I was like, Tom's gonna say like Tisana, some freaking dinosaur.
Stegosaurus?
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely was not leather. It felt like rubber when you'd sit on the seats, and they were always like fucking hot when the
leather.
heat. Oh my god! But the car smelled like a tobacco factory because my dad had samples and stuff in the trunk, or he was delivering stuff to certain businesses, and so the car always smelled like cherry tobacco or something like that. Yeah, it wasn't a pleather. Because it didn't even look like leather. Like when you sat on it, it felt like rubber. It felt like
it was a product of the 70s.
I don't know what it was.
They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know.
No.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a 40-year-old, I have no idea what the hell you're talking
Yeah.
about. Man.
You have to remember, John and I grew up in an era when we still had rotary phones, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a
plastic
rotary
people-
phone.
Did
And
you?
in an era where
And
our
an
parents
18-foot
still,
cord. It was great.
and our parents used to put plastic over the top of their couches so we
Yep,
wouldn't
so you
ruin them.
couldn't. There was always one room you could never go in.
You can never
See,
go. in.
I never had all that. But yeah, I had a rotary phone with the 18-foot cord. That was great.
And me and Tim had a grandmother that always had a bowl of nasty fucking candy.
Yeah, like the candy, like nobody would want to eat. Like, Mom, why'd you buy that crap? It's like just
It's
nasty.
for guests.
Butterscotch.
Yeah, but I can't even in my right mind imagine that the guests like that stuff either.
Yeah, the menthol.
I'm trying to find out that material for you guys.
Yeah, you have to do 70 fake leather. Google 70 fake leathers.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I'd be careful Googling anything from the
It was
70s.
god awful.
It was bushy.
I don't
don't
even
even-
think that goes back that far.
I don't even know what year Chevy Nova it was. To be honest with you,
Oh man.
I'll never find it. Anyway, we're sidetracked on talking about old cars. So
Some phone just.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah, they did.
John and Tim
well, no,
might be, but I'm not.
the rotary phones had letters and numbers as
Right.
well.
Yeah,
it was the same exact thing. I mean,
it's-
you just had to.
Yeah, you go back.
Yeah, it's funny to watch videos of kids who've never seen them before, and they just don't understand how to dial a number on it, and like they'll sit there in the videos for like 15 minutes thinking they figured it out.
Yeah, trying to push the individual. It's like, no, dumbass.
What time is it in Germany? It's got to be
3
late.
a.m.
Yeah,
that's what
they're
it is.
6 hours ahead.
Yeah. There it is, 3 a.m.
Yeah, 6 hours ahead.
Well, thank you for staying up to watch this show.
Yeah, really. No, thanks for joining. No, we get people from sprinkled all around. We used to get the Australia, New Zealanders, and the Aussies.
Brazil. We got
Yeah.
people from Brazil. Oh, are you telling jokes now? Are we telling jokes? Tell me more, my child. I got 3 Hail Marys, 1 Our Father, and a never touch the cigarettes ever again speech.
How'd that work for you?
Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, because it didn't take much longer. Well, you remember I was 12 when I stole that first cigarette, so I didn't start again I didn't touch another cigarette for 2 years. So it wasn't until I was 14 that I started smoking. So, and those were nasty. Those were non-filter Pall Malls. They were disgusting cigarettes. Disgusting cigarettes. We got a book here from the Facebook
I
user.
see that.
All right.
Pretty sure that's Becky.
Is that Becky? Yeah, I don't know. I can't see.
Uh,
So we want to hear some of your guys'
I'm
positive.
pretty sure it is because of the writing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We want to hear some positive stories. If you were at a vape shop and you saw a vape shop owner do something pretty cool for a new vapor, or you did something really cool for a new vapor, you shared or gave something away to help them out. We want to hear those stories in chat. So if you got some positive stories that you want to share in chat, share those. Tom, do you have any positive stories you want to share in vaping?
sorry, I was still reading the book from the Facebook user.
Yeah, we can read that later. We can come back to you, Tom, if you need some time to
That works.
Get the hamster wheel running. Brian, go ahead, Brian.
well, Tom, while you read that, I'm gonna respond to the prior question because John never asked me.
Oh, which
So-
one?
That's because you're not important, Brian. You're just the stat guy.
I thought
So-
I started. Oh no, Tim jumped in. Go ahead. Yeah, no. See, I was starting with you, but then Tim interrupted you. It wasn't me.
Yes, that's true.
Damn it, Tim, you're fired.
Go ahead.
That should be a fine on Tim's part then. Like he should take away
No.
my fines.
Well, Tim's gonna wear a suit. Tim's wearing a suit next week.
I have a suit upstairs, but I think I'm too fat for it now. So it'll be a fat guy in a little suit.
There you
Fat
go.
guy in a little suit.
But no, with the prior question, so actually I had two little questions about it. One is like my folks didn't know I smoked. Like I hid it from them because I was like really anti-smoker to them. I wanted them to quit smoking. Like that was my whole thing. And then I ended up picking it up and I hid it from them for quite a long time. My mom found out I'd smoked but she didn't say anything to my dad. And then my dad finally found out, but nothing was said about it. We just he just kind of looked at me and just, it's whatever. But my question about it is, since we all kind of have folks that smoked and all that stuff, my question is, in my family, it was more of military style. So my grandpa was World War II, my dad was like Vietnam. So that's, my curiosity question is more of, do you think they kind of smoked because like they were in that sort of era where like smoking was more prevalent, more pushed, more used for, across seasons of that, and that's kind of like how people were using it more, maybe?
I never really asked my dad when he started smoking, but he was military, and back then, it was common, so it's possible. And to answer the question, I was about 13, and I don't remember how I hid it. I mean, other than not smoking in front of them, of course.
Yeah, the only one that smoked in my house was my grandfather, but he never smoked in the house. Well, the barber shop was part of the house, so he had a door that he would open and it would go into his shop, his barber shop, and that's where they smoked. But I think, I think he didn't smoke, but he smoked because everybody in the barber shop was smoking. All those guys, I'd go in there and it was just a cloud of smoke in there, and there'd be 5 or 6 old guys in there smoking away. But I didn't look at my grandfather and go, God, I can't wait to smoke a cigarette, And I don't think he influenced me into wanting to steal that cigarette more than I kind of just wanted to, just give it a try. I figured it can't be that bad. And there was 3 or 4 of us that were on the fire balcony, escape balcony thing, and we smoked that thing. And that was a bad idea because we all got dizzy. And we're up there on a 2-story balcony thing, looking down, throwing up. And it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Yep. Now, you know what? I think looking back that far, I think, I don't know that smoking was as frowned upon as it probably got in the later years. I don't remember. The only elder in my family that was a smoker. My grandfather was also a pipe smoker. I'm pretty sure that's where my dad got that from. And I'm going to guess the cigarette habit came from my grandmother because she was a smoker. Now, she didn't smoke around us, or at least I don't recall ever seeing her smoke around us when we were at her house. And she wasn't a heavy smoker. Seemed like she would have a pack and then it would just kind of sit on the writing desk, for a long time. But I think she went outside on the back porch. But she smoked all the way up until the day that she died. Now, mind you, she never passed away from anything that was smoking related. She did not die of like lung cancer or anything like that. She died of a broken hip, of all things. So, yeah, but she smoked. She died when she was in her early 90s. So, she smoked all the way up until that. Every time you go over there, you'd see the pack of cigarettes just sitting in the writing desk all the time. So, I guess she would have one here, one there. And I think that's where my dad got influenced on it. But I think smoking also was, probably back in those days, it was a little bit more socially acceptable. It was like the thing. It was definitely a social thing to do. People, plus, I think, weren't they under the guise that it was good for you?
It was good for you.
Well, yeah, because 4 out of 5 doctors would recommend a certain one brand over another
to relax or whatever.
Stress relief, smoke a cigarette. But too, like you're saying, with her, it was a different type of cigarette back then too. It was a cleaner cigarette. It didn't have all the additives and a lot of the other stuff that they do today.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I think too, because my cousin, who's probably was about the same age as your grandmother, he's the same thing. Smoked 2 packs a day, drank a fifth of whiskey every day, and he died from the same thing. His hip went out when he was going down a flight of stairs, and he fell down a flight of stairs, and that's what killed him, dude.
Did people back then roll their own? I noticed that, like, if you're in Europe, everybody rolls their own cigarettes. Like, very few people actually buy, like, packaged cigarettes. Like, I always see people with, like, a little packet of the filters, and they have the papers, and then they got a little pouch of tobacco, and they make their own. I don't ever remember anybody rolling their own back then.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's weird. You still do hear those stories, and it blows me away every time I hear somebody. I smoked for 65 years, and they don't have anything. They don't have cancer. They don't have CPOD. They don't have anything, man.
And then you got guys that run marathons that have all that shit, and you're like, wait a minute, what?
It's that old theory. You could be as healthy as you want, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get hit by a bus tomorrow morning, man.
Right?
Yeah. 'Cause my aunt was a victim of cancer, and she was never a smoker.
Yeah.
So go figure.
Also, I would like to say that in 2 weeks, I'm kind of hoping to get hit by a bus, so that way I can go visit a nurse friend of mine that works in the ER. That's the only way I'll be able to see her.
What are you trying to get a free sponge bath? Is that what you're trying to get?
Maybe.
Oh, man. Brian, do you have a positive sharing story with the industry in a whole? That a shop?
I have quite a few, actually.
Great. Share away.
Kind of start at the beginning. When I used to manage one of the shops, I dealt with more of the older crowd for quite a while. It wasn't like that super popular, like hip thing like it currently is now. It was more of still like the underground type of thing. So I would work with people who were using, the little clear misers and stuff like that with the single sticks, and 24 milligrams, stuff like that. And they would have the little necklaces on them. Like the older ladies would have necklaces on them, like a little like clip on them, so they could like have it near them and stuff. And they would carry around like different batteries, and so I would show them how more flavorful some of the newer devices were compared to like the older ones. And it's become very helpful with me working with them, because I would end up changing like their like coils for free, or like give them like like I had some juice that I had, and I thought they would like it, so I would just give it to them like, hey, just take this it's going to help you keep off smoking, so let's just keep continuing it. So that's what I would do. Work with all sorts of different people with that, and then like once it's newer crowd would come in, what I would end up doing is I would meet people out at a restaurant or something, or after the shop closed, we would just hang out and we would just chit chat the store and like not sell anything, but just hang out with them and like try to explain more things, and like maybe give them build some coils for them, or help them even more, so teach them even, and help them understand like how things worked, so then that way they could show other people. And even if I, you know, would go out and stuff, I would find out where people worked, and then we would talk about it. And I would one of the ladies, she was actually she was a prior smoker, but she was actually like kind of like a security at one of the venues that we have up here, and people would walk up to her, like she would actually use her, you know, devices at the jobs, and then she would, you know, people would ask her where she got it and stuff like that, and I would be at the venue, and she would kind of point me out and flag me over, and like, this is the guy to talk to, and then he's really helped me out type thing, and just stuff like that has been like really powerful, and you know, it's just I won't forget those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our industry and our community, a lot of the people that I ran into, it's amazing. It's just like we'll have certain devices that we keep, but the ones that we don't use anymore, it's just like, hey, you could see it in our group, even though we're not allowed to do it in our group, but I see it in some of the other groups. People are really quick to say, hey, your mod broke. You know, DM you, I'll send you a mod, you know, I got something for you, and it's really cool. I love seeing that. I wish we could do that in our group, but we just can't do it anymore. We've had some bad situations, but especially when you're transferring money from one person to another. But a lot of times, a lot of guys are just, you know, I do it all the time. I if I didn't, I don't know how many friggin' mods I would have.
Yeah, well, like one thing too is like I would actually frequent other shops. Like, not usually people who work at one shop, they
Bruce.
usually don't like other shops and stuff like that. And what I would do, I would actually frequent other shops, and some employees, you know, 99% of the employees would know who I was. I walk in the door and I just kind of hang out, and they were kind of asking me like, "Are you kind of price shopping us?" I said, "No." I said, "If I want to do that, I would just ask you straight up, like, how much is this?"
Yeah.
But you have it sitting right there, so I don't need to. And they're like, "Well, why are you here?" I'm kind of, because I'm just hanging out for a while, and like I would actually help their customers and help sell their devices at their shop. Like, I'm like, it's not about me versus you. It's about us helping them, and that's just plain and simple right there. So that's what I would do. I mean those little things just are very memorable. Even going to expos and like we would talk to smokers outside the venues, or we would go out to eat, and we would see people smoking. Like, all of us just flock to people and just we're talking to them about it and stuff like that. Like, that was all very memorable stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of stories.
What are you doing here, Mike? What are you writing, Mike? Boy, I think it's stolen. Oh, man.
Start an OnlyFans, Mike.
Yeah.
Then you can afford to buy whatever mod you want.
Yes, start an only.
Just saying.
Tim's had, well, you've had yours, 2 of them. Can't hear you.
I was trying to spare you the wieners. The wieners were barking. No, I've had 2 stolen in the same day.
Yeah.
That and I didn't
That's
care.
such a good story.
No, it's a horrible story, Tom.
It's a good story for me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. All right, so it was backstage at like a festival, an outdoor festival. It was a long day. We had just come back from like Clear Spring, Maryland, or West Virginia, or something like that. And obviously, you know, we go in backstage, you know, to load in and all that stuff. And so I had 2 vapes with me for the whole trip. I had a Caliburn, not a Cocoa, but one of these. Is that a Cocoa? It is. They're both Cocos. That's right. I forget
Cocoa right on it.
I know. Now I see it in my camera. Look at that. I'm an idiot. Well, look. I'm a blonde. No, I had a Caliburn Cocoa, and I had a topside Carbon, and the Carbon was in my book bag, and I'm like, I don't need that to, you know, for the whole day. So I was just kind of running around with the Caliburn, and then my buddy was like, man, I got to charge my phone, and he had one of those portable battery chargers. So we sat everything on the cooler, and I plugged in my Caliburn, and he plugged in his phone. And then we were just kind of doing our thing, getting ready for them to go on. There was no security, like no one minding the shop. Like people were back there. People that shouldn't have been backstage were backstage. There was crew and all kinds of people just kind of meandering around. So I was like, oh, I guess it should be done charged. I went over to go look for it, and it wasn't on the cooler. And so I asked my friend, I'm like, did you pick up my, he's like, no. And I'm like, damn, somebody stole my caliber. So I went and told like the guy who headed the festival, I'm like, or was in charge of the security or his crew or whoever, the backstage people. I'm like, yeah, man, somebody came back here and stole one of my devices. And at that point, I think he was a little sympathetic, because I really, he probably realized he didn't have very good control over his employees. I'm like, look, man, I don't care. It's not a big deal. It was only like $20. I'll just get another one. Don't sweat it. I just want you to know these are the people that are working for you. They, they're taking people's stuff, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
So I go in and get my carbon, because I'm okay for the rest of the day. I'm using it. Band finishes, and we're all standing side stage. So they were on the back of a flatbed trailer, like a flatbed, that you would tow with like an 18-wheeler. And so I set it up on like the edge or the rim of the trailer hitch, and walked away to go help them load out some stuff. And I came back, and that was gone too. Somebody stole that carbon, and when I lost that carbon, I was like heartbroken.
Now
I was
you
like,
were pissed. Though.
Yeah, I was like $150, man. That thing was just gone in the blink of an eye. I will never let a vape device get that anywhere out of my line of sight from here on out. I've learned my lesson.
The stolen carbon is where the story goes sad.
Yeah.
It starts off funny because it's just a simple pod device.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is don't
Yeah.
trust roadies.
Yeah, don't trust the backstage crew of somebody's festival, somebody else's festival.
Make sure they have really good security. And if you need really good security, I know a guy.
Mind you, the majority of the time we're at these shows, we're in what they affectionately call the green room. They're never green, but they call them the green room. They're like the backstage room. So we kind of have our own kind of private room that people don't infiltrate. This was just the back of a flatbed trailer with chain gate around it, and there were people all over the place. So that's my fault.
I wish someone, I don't know how it would set up, but it would be a great place. I mean, if someone could start a website to just old equipment, old mods, just priced cheaply, it'd be great. I think. I mean,
there you go, Tim. There's your next venture.
I
Build
mean,
a website for that.
I don't know if you could get away with it. I mean, I don't know. It's how
Well, shipping that would be your primary. I wonder if you fall under the PACT Act on stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think that would be great. I mean, I know you can't do it anymore. We used to have some great Facebook group pages that were dedicated to that. And, it really helped out, especially if you were in like Tim's situation, or, where you got both of your mods stolen and, you didn't have anything for, you didn't have enough money or whatever situation you were in, and you can get yourself a cheap one for now. Yeah, it'd be great. I would love to see something like that, but
I have an idea for how you could do it.
Don't share it. Someone will steal it in chat.
I'm not. I'm copywriting that son of a gun. You're giving me an idea.
Just put it in our private chat.
Yeah, I will. I'll give you guys the business plan after the show.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I might be an investor.
Well, should I finish the story though, John? Because
go ahead.
All right. So the end of the story, Mike, since you had yours stolen, you could feel like it was a carbon. Okay. So it's not a cheap device to begin with. So I mean, you're replacing a $150 device with a DNA chip in it. Then on top of that, the carbon was out of manufacturing. They weren't making any more of them. So I couldn't find them anywhere. Like I couldn't even find one on like Fast Tech or 3A Vape or 3F Vape. And it turned out that with John, were you the one that found it?
Yeah,
No, John messaged the people at DovPo, and DovPo dug around and came back and said that they had them in stock at 101 Vape UK or whatever it was. Yeah, and I ended up ordering. When I started, I had the white one. Well, it would look more gray than white. Yeah. But they didn't have any more of those because I wanted to just one for one replace. I couldn't get that one. I had to get the blue gray one, which I like, and I actually have it
matches your lights.
That, and I have a Thunderhead Creations Tauren Max on it that's like a kind of a slate blue or whatever, so it matches perfectly. Looks killer.
And when was the last time you used that?
About 6 months ago.
That's about the last time I broke out my carbon.
Yeah. I have so much. Some of the older stuff kind of falls to the back of the rotation. Dude, I've been on the swag for the last couple of months.
Well,
Man.
yeah,
well,
you
that's like
think-
Few
my,
months
my,
anyway.
my
Yeah.
Stabwood ones. They're packed up in storage for now.
Oh no,
Just
I got them all
not-
on. You guys can kind of see them back there. Hold on, let's see if I can move. There, see, look there.
Well,
There's
yeah, mine are all put away.
There they are. There they are, kids. Now you know where all my vapes are. I don't let them get too far. They're all lined up.
Yeah,
I don't know
mean,
where mine are.
We get stuck. You get stuck on
No.
one device, and it just becomes the device you use all the time. And
I've been loving the Pulse 2 lately again.
yeah, you get stuck. I'm taking a picture of my just to see how I have 87,860 puffs on my Lost Vape Paranormal since I've owned it, and I don't know. I was gonna go back and look to see how long it's been since I had it, but I grab that every day, and I have there's mods all over my desk. They're everywhere. I just don't seem to.
My desk is starting to look like Brian, so yeah. I feel your pain.
I guarantee you, Daniel, that's one of those squonks will go out on a road trip with me. Because when I have to drive the band around, it's usually like 6-7 hours.
You can't see this one; it's green.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty awesome. I want one. Oh shit! I got to buy a green screen too.
That's that new transparent one.
Yeah.
Super exclusive.
You're just getting that rhythm, and it's just convenient. You know it's going to work. You push the button, you know it's going to work for
Yep.
you every time, and a lot of times it's like for Tim, probably it's convenient just to take that around with him all day and put it in your pocket if you're driving around.
Yeah, well, you know what, and that's another thing. I'm not trying to sell everybody on the PX80 swag, but I'll just tell you. I mean, for a device with a larger tank on it, a magnetic tank on it, I like the design because it's small enough to throw in your pocket. Mm-hmm. I kid you not. I mean, with that square form factor,
That's why I like this one too.
that sucker's in my pocket all the time. Love it.
And I've got like 10 mil juice capacity right there.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
son.
well, that's where
Eat a dick, old man.
I should consider going to one of those for a squonk for like longer days and stuff like that. Because like now, if I go out with this, I have to like pack extra batteries and.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how long does the battery last you on that?
I changed this battery earlier today, and I'll probably have to change it tomorrow.
Not bad at all.
No.
Not bad at all. But yeah, you're right. I like the portability. What is that?
Single battery squonk mod.
Oh, is that the bottle right there? Oh, the battery's exposed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually want one of those.
I don't know if I would want something like that.
John, give me one of those.
What's that, Simon? What the crack with returned items being put in trash by companies, people getting refunds rather than getting them replaced?
What?
So, I'm
some of
lost.
those-
I'm
Okay,
lost on
so
the state.
some of the bigger companies, what happens is that instead of replacing like the item, like when they send it back to the company, what they'll do is they'll actually throw it in the trash instead of trying to like repair it.
Yeah.
So like we would get refund. Well, we would get returns sometimes on some products, and I would just exchange it. I would send them back out, and then they would get replaced by like one of the distros. But then they would actually get put in the trash by the distro instead of being sent back to like Wismec or anything else like that.
Yeah, because it's probably just too costly to go that route. I mean, when you probably consider the manufacturing cost of that item before it gets into the consumer's hand, it's pennies on the dollar compared to. So what's the point, you know? And nobody's. And how many people are actually going to go on a website and want to buy like a refurbed vape
Mod,
device?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
No.
Refurb mod.
I'm going to go with just no on that.
Refurbsmods.com.
Yeah, like maybe I'd be interested in like scratch and dent kind of stuff, you know, things with some imperfections.
Right,
But
blemishes.
I would. I mean, there are people who will jump on that train, but I'm not one that tends to gravitate towards refurbished stuff at a cheaper price. Like I'm like, I don't know, I don't trust it, even though you get the warranty and all that shit.
Yeah, I've had a couple things where Amazon just said throw it away. We'll send you a new one because it was just not worth their time for you to re-put it in a package and send you a packing slip and all that. They're all just toss it. We'll send you a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of crazy. Yeah, well, too, you got to think some of these mods, the manufacturers, hardly any of them have any distros in the United States. So that mod's got to go back to China. China don't fucking want it.
Yeah,
No,
well,
they're just going to take it and
no,
throw it in a
but
dumpster
you know what
anyways.
they will do though, and I mean I've never actually tried it. I'd like to. I just don't have the money to do it. Is I'd love to do one of those like those surprise return boxes from Amazon. You pay
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
know like $1,100 or $1,000 or something like that, and they send you like this couple huge boxes full of stuff. You have
A
no
couple
idea what's
pallets
in.
full of
Yeah,
random stuff.
yeah, and just open
There's
it.
there's actually a guy I watch on YouTube. What he does, he buys on eBay, like bags of, like old MP3 players, and like
Yeah,
he digs through them and tries to see if they play and like how old they are, and like it's kind of interesting like what you actually get in there.
yeah.
It's pretty funny, and plus he's Australian, so like he's got a fun channel to watch, to be honest.
Yeah. Nah,
You watch it for the accent. Don't lie.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
well, and I'm thinking on the vape side of things, I'm thinking they don't have the faculty for repairs and stuff like that. Like they're more
Right.
interested in just cranking out units and selling them all the way
Yeah.
through. I've never had the only time I've ever had a vape device that went bad on me where they didn't want it back was the ZB Go. I got one early on when they first dropped, and like within like a week or two it started like either misfiring or not firing or something weird like that. And then I remember I had to take a video of it to prove that it was acting weird.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we'll send you another one. And so they
Yeah.
sent me another one. So I ended up with the second one. And then I kind of like messed around and fixed the first one. So then I ended up with two. And then after that, they changed the policy and people actually had to send them back. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's still Daniel. There's still a couple that still do them. A lot of them are 3D printed ones. Companies. I'm trying to remember all the names of them, but I know Clockworks Mods out of Canada. I don't know if they're still in business or not, or they may have changed their name. I'm thinking it's. Oh wait, NKA Designs. I think they might have changed their name. I'm not sure, but I think they still have a Facebook group page. Let me see here. Because they make some really good mods too, some really good 3D prints. Clock.
I need to figure out. While you're looking for that, I need to figure out what devices I'm taking with me on my trip.
Yeah, that's always like how. Like this is
Yeah,
a good
that-
question for
it
the
is.
chat too. Like, if you go somewhere, and I'm talking like not a day trip. I'm not talking like hanging out at your buddy's house. I'm talking about like a
for me,
trip.
I'll be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and either come back Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yeah. Like what?
What do I
Like
take?
yeah. What do you take? How do you travel? Like John, how do you travel? Like if you have to go away for a few days, what do you take with you?
I always take this. This is my go-to, and I always will take a. I have a smaller single battery mod that I always take with me. It would either be the small dot mod, 75 watt, the real tiny one with a mouth to lung device. I always this always goes everywhere with me. It's the only mod I know that I'm going to grab, and it's always going to work for me. So it's that, and then I always grab a mouth to lung. So I'll take it's one of their smaller mods. I forget, I don't have it, but it's behind a green screen, and I don't want to.
Brian, what do you take with you on long trips?
Use. I've taken quite a few long trips, and I've had a backpack full of stuff. Usually, like my build kit's in there. I have extra wire, extra
I'll be
coils,
taking
extra mods.
build kit with
Hey
spare
Tom,
coil and cotton.
hey, shut up so Brian can talk.
Hey, shut up, old man. Brian's time to talk.
But yeah, I would bring probably 3 or 4 different sets of batteries, a good battery charger with me, like for long trips. Like if I'm going on a short trip, like Tom, like fishing type thing, then I would just take like the container that you had, the zip up coil master thing, and just fill that with a couple batteries, a small little charger, USB charger, some extra juice, probably like I eat a good, 240 mils of juice, easy, and a couple different RDAs, so I can build different things while I'm there, and then also a couple different mods, one dual and one single.
Right on. Tom,
Agent-
what do you normally take?
Well, when I went on the fishing trip, I took
The Fonzie trick.
Yeah. I took 2 pod devices and this and a internal battery device with a tank as a backup,
Right.
plus a build kit just in case something happened, fresh cotton, spare batteries. I didn't take a charger because I had enough batteries to last the entire trip.
Right.
For this upcoming one, I'll probably do something similar. I'll probably just take one pod. I'm debating on taking this one, which is set up for
Mix.
Moxa Lung right now,
Yeah.
and the Squonk liquid. Wow, Mike, really? Towboat? Nice. But yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to pack a little light because I always know I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going somewhere that it's going to require going out. And I hate to take like a big old squonk with me to dinner or to a show or something like that. So I'll probably take one large device that has, needs 18650s or 21700s. And then I have a 2-channel battery charger that I'll take with me so I can charge batteries overnight. And then the rest of it, it'll be pod systems. I'll pretty much take something like this, and maybe something like that, like the Argus Air, and then throw a bunch of throw the packs of coils in there. So I try to tend to go a little light, and then most of this stuff you can charge just by plugging it into the wall at night, so you don't have to worry about charging up 18650 batteries or 217. Like maybe I'll use the big vape device around like the vacation house or the condo or wherever we're staying, and then the pod stuff will go with me out and about.
Now,
And
see,
juice, of course.
Yeah,
we're
looks
talking. We're talking. We're going someplace that has power. I'm camping. I'll be primitive camping.
But can't you
so
get like one of those portable like battery things that'll last you like a week?
I have a booster pack that I can plug a 12 like a cigarette adapter into lighter. That it's got a 110 outlet, 4 USB ports, so I'll have power. And I did charge that fully today, so
Yeah, you'll be good.
yeah.
All that 3D printed stuff.
Yeah, they're still in business. I don't know as
Spendy.
far as their shipping to the U.S., but yeah, they make some really nice stuff, and it's very durable. All the mods that I have from them, they take a beating. I mean, they're so light too. When you drop them, it's like dropping a piece of paper. Just,
Yeah.
But they have a lot of single. This is the one I wanted to get, and I ended up getting the one with the open face instead. But it's kind of cool. They're neat. And
I like
they're
the
very
look of them.
They're very affordable. They are very
Right.
affordable. I don't know what their price. I know that there's a.
What
Is
kind
it
of chips
cheap?
are they putting in them?
DNA 7, the new DNA chips.
Okay.
That was So you can see that because they have the 3-button DNA setup right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, see it's the DNA 250C. I don't know why the picture's not coming up, but yeah, it's the 3-button one.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there it is. There's a good one. You can see the 3 buttons there. So you have the. Yeah, they're nice looking mods. Yes, yeah, they're very affordable. And I don't know, is it cheaper to ship from there to here? Right? It's cheaper for them to ship from Canada into the U.S. right, than it is for us to ship from here into Canada. I think, right? Isn't that how it works?
I'm not sure.
Only time I got anything vape wise from Canada was Saddle Horse Blues coils, and I think I paid $15 in shipping from Canada to the U.S. Now, you
Yeah.
go the other way. I think for us, it's anywhere from 20 to 25 to ship something over the border.
Yeah. Check them out. Very nice people. They make good stuff, and they're real quick too. I didn't know they were doing wood, so that's kind of cool.
We're going to talk about Canada today in the news anyway.
Oh, Canada, Tim. why
Not
don't we-
hockey.
No hockey. Is there any Canadian teams still left?
I don't know. I kind of dropped off the map when the Capitals got bounced in the first round. So.
Oh, Tim.
My life is over until the beginning of the season next year.
Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into news and advocacy with Mr. Tim, and here we go.
There's such a long pause before I get to start tapping the papers, but
Tap them.
tappity tap tap tap. I always laugh when it says Swifty in the news. Like how do you actually get in the news? That's things that make you go. So we're gonna do our customary our tapperton. We're gonna do our customary 3 stories. Let's start off with the first one. This one is about Canada. Canada. We're going to talk about Canada, our lovely neighbors to the north of us. We're going to talk about Canada. Hold on. There we go. All right, this one was forwarded me by. Where did Brian go? Brian left.
No, there he goes. I hit the wrong one.
Oh, you. I thought you.
John kicked me off the show.
He kicked you to the curb. This one was actually sent to me by someone on the panel who shall remain anonymous.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. He may or may not have been the one that vanished for a second or two. I think this one was originally intended to be set up as a poll so you could vote. Maybe I missed the poll by a day. These are probably only open for 24 hours. I don't know if anybody knew. I'm sure the Canadians probably are well aware of this. But there was some legislation or a bill they were trying to introduce, or regulations they were trying to introduce at some point last year, that effectively would have rendered a NIC cap on e-liquid in the country, and that would affect everything across the board, from the pod devices as well as open tank systems or any e-liquids that you're going to be able to buy on the shelf. They had started this legislation last year. As early as I believe somewhere in the March-May time frame. There was an open comments period where people could chime in. I'm not really sure how fervent the Canadian vaping community was in trying to stop this NIC cap. I know that it's something that is one of the conversations that comes up pretty regularly when we talk about what's one thing that we could probably get rid of in terms of regulations or controls, sensible regulations, to try to keep vaping, within the sphere of being able to obtain it. As of May, this past, and now countrywide, they're getting ready to instate a nicotine cap on any new products that come out, down from what was allowed, which was 66 milligrams per milliliter, which is the Juul. Everyone knows that. That's not coming from, even most people that are doing open tank pod systems are probably not buying 66 milligram per milliliter e-liquid. They're probably buying 50 or lower than that. But it's down from 66 down to 20. So that will be the NIC cap as far as commercial purchasing, meaning if you're a consumer and you go to your vape shop, or if you can buy online, or you go to the C-stores, everything that'll be in those locations will be capped at 20 milligrams. Now, apparently this policy goes into effect July 8th, which is just right around the corner, literally. And anybody or any retailers that have products that are above the 20 milligram nicotine cap, they have until July 23rd to pull it from the shelves. So you'll have a little bit of a window. So, I dare I say, stock up if you need something more than 20. But if you're using 24 or 36 or 50, those won't be options for you moving forward after July 23rd, I'm going to guess, when the products need to come completely down from the shelves. So I'm going to guess you'll probably see some vape shops, probably, no pun intended, liquidating some of their inventory. You probably find some good deals, and hopefully they won't gouge you on that stuff, but they'll be looking to offload it, and I guarantee you they won't be sending it back to the manufacturers. That stuff could have been sitting on the shelves for 3 or 4 or 5 months. The manufacturers are not going to want that stuff back. The interesting part to this article was something that I think Canadians should be on the lookout for, at least be vigilant over, and that apparently just as soon as this thing was passed, Health Canada is actually working on new regulations. They're drafting them as we speak, that would restrict flavors as well. So from a country perspective, this is not a province issue. However, it has impacted some provinces, prior to other ones. We'll get into that. But yeah, they're looking to try to pass a flavor ban, and it would basically stop the sale of all flavored ingredients, including sugars and sweeteners in vaping products as well. The only flavors that would be allowed to remain on the market would be tobacco, mint, and menthol. Oh, going back to the nicotine part of it, while you can only buy over the counter products up to 20 milligrams per milliliter on nicotine, if you are a manufacturer in Canada and you make juice, you can still produce higher nic level juices that you are selling internationally. So that's still going to be allowed. It just from a consumer standpoint, you won't be able to obtain anything greater than 20. I think that's a shame, really, only because in my mind's eye, I think the average cigarette is somewhere around 24. 24. And so really, you're actually making this decision. All of this is based on the kids again. They're trying to make vaping less appealing to kids. So if they get rid of flavors and they lower the nic cap, they've recognized that kids are chasing buzzes. So they figure if they lower it, that it'll make it less appealing, when in fact they're only doing, I think, more harm overall to people that are trying to use it to quit smoking, because some people need more than 24, some need 36, and some do need more than that. I mean, I don't know what the census is on who actually needs 50 on the regular to help them quit smoking, or even 66 for that matter. But by limiting it to 20, they're probably going to end up keeping people more on the cigarette boat than they will on the vaping boat if they can't get the nic levels that are matching what their requirements are.
Yep.
And consequently, beyond that, if they do get rid of the flavors, that's an even bigger dagger, because the flavors, even if you did cut the nic to 20, let's just say people could learn to live with that. But now you're going to take the flavors away too. Yeah. If there was one thing left, one bastion left in that whole process that's going to keep somebody from going back to cigarettes or staying off of them or getting away from them completely, it's going to be flavors. The only 3 flavors they're going to allow to remain are, like I said, tobacco, mint, and menthol. So menthol might save some people, mint might save some people, but those who are locked down on your flavors, I agree with you, Mallory. I'll talk about that later in the show. I have a kind of a story from Twitter that I thought I'd share with people here. Anyway, so that's that. So, and I'll add one last little bit to that. Is apparently Ottawa they've already instituted the sale of flavors, or the sale of those products. It's a flavor ban in Ottawa. Excuse me. Flavor ban in Ottawa already. But here, listen to what Ottawa wants to do. Okay, you tell me how you control this. So they've already gotten rid of flavors, but they also want to limit the tastes and smells that vaping can invoke. So what are you going to do? Make a tobacco flavor smell like total skunk dog shit?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What? How?
I even had to kind of raise an eyebrow on that one, because I'm like,
that's just adding more chemicals to it to make a flavor. That's ridiculous.
All I'm going to say is Canada is weird, eh?
Yeah, I when I read that, I mean, literally the sentence reads, Ottawa also wants to forbid the promotion of flavors other than tobacco, mint, or menthol, and set standards that would limit the tastes and smells that vaping products can evoke. That's the sentence in the article.
Wow.
And I'm like, how exactly do you do that? I mean, you're going to have to make it smell like complete dog crap, and then you're really going to kill anybody's opportunity. I mean, this is a country that was effectively ready to embrace like UK Health and all that other stuff. Like they were ready to endorse it, and now all of a sudden it's the demon. So I don't know, something's fishy. Something's coming out of the ice up there that ain't right. So anyway, but I've already kind of talked on my takeaways on that one. I just think, yeah, you could probably learn to get over the 20 milligram hump, but if you take away the flavors, you're really throwing a dagger in the whole entire process. Kids are not. Kids are no. It doesn't matter at that point. You've made it completely unappealing to a shitload of people. All right, so that's that one. Unfortunately, I couldn't vote on the poll. I didn't even see the results of the poll down here. I think the poll basically was the question: should flavored vapes be banned in Canada? I would have answered no in a second, but I couldn't vote on that one. All right.
Can you click it now and see? Because right below the vote button it says view results.
That's for this poll that says, do you want to see a federal election called this year? That's what I was saying, is this isn't even the same element.
Well, the last time I saw it, the banning flavors was actually like twice as high as not banning.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can find it in this list. Hold on one second. These are all previous polls. This was June 12th. Man, they may have taken it down. Let's see. May 31. I wonder how old this poll was. I mean, these seem to be 2-day polls, right? Or maybe there wasn't a poll attached to it at all, Brian. Maybe it was never there. It was just the way the article was questioned. I don't even see it. Yeah, here it is. Look at the votes in Canada. I don't know who knows about this site. There's your results right there. Let me zoom in on for everybody. What's wrong with Canada?
Oh, Canada.
Can you guys read that now?
Yeah.
Almost 6,500 people voted yes that they should be banned. Only roughly 3,900 voted no. I'm going to guess these are slanted polls anyway, because this is probably coming from a news source where vapors don't know about every little poll and every little news channel that's out there. So I'm going to call BS on this and not fault anybody for the results here, because, I mean, the average person that probably stumbled onto this website probably isn't a vapor to begin with. So it's impressive. I'm sure this number, you know where this number came from? From people sharing it on social media and going, go vote on the poll, go vote on the poll.
And I'm sure they have the same situation we have here. Who actually does these polls? You know,
right?
Older people, and they got time. They're in their late 50s, 60s. They know what's smoking. They have no knowledge on what vaping has done for the world, for that matter. So they just go and buy what articles they've seen on Facebook.
Yeah. I agree with you, 100%. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, Castanet. I wouldn't have known about that website in a million years. I'm shocked that they were able to even get that many yes votes, and who knows? Maybe they had bots clicking the button. Who knows?
They're using the bots. We're bots. We're all bots.
We're all bots on Twitter anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so moving along, this one I thought was interesting. Obviously, this is kind of I think this is interesting to point out, because you always hear quite often how they say vaping is a gateway to smoking. And I completely disagree with that fundamental statement. I don't think that people, and I'm taking this from the perspective that someone who was a never smoker, never anything, picked up vaping on a whim because their buddies did it or it was a trendy thing to do, and then it just magically made them want to go smoke cigarettes. I just don't even think in that particular order the results would substantiate that. I just can't see anybody who's vaping want to go from like, I don't know, like, blueberry donut to a shitty Marlboro. Even if you were on 3, 6, 12, 18, 24, I just can't see. I could see curiosity maybe opening up and then be like, well, let me try a cigarette. Maybe it's similar, right? Well, whatever. Anyway, excuse me. This article by the headline: San Francisco high school students doubled their cigarette smoking after the vape ban. So I don't know if a lot of people even know this. Maybe people from California, John. That in 2018, San Francisco had banned flavored tobacco products in the city.
Yep.
And I don't know why they differentiate this, but the statement was including Juul pods with fruit flavors and menthol cigarettes. I just,
There's a whole new category. They're in their own
Juul
category.
Juul is a pariah when it comes to their products. They just are not vaping products. But to us, they are the devil. Anyway, and a lot of people viewed this ban as a win for public health, which, the antis are always going to feel that way. The legislators are going to pretend they feel that way. Fine, you ban the flavors. It makes it less attractive to kids. You kill the epidemic. Problem goes away. We're good. Mr. Legislator, policymaker. But there was some data that was collected recently that revealed that the ban may have actually increased the number of teens turning and getting hooked on cigarettes. Shocker. You're going to take vaping away, and now they might, for the sake of argument, have a bit of a nicotine addiction or have gotten used to nicotine. But what are you going to do? You're going to leave the most deadly product of them all on the shelf, still accessible for everyone and everybody. And if they're already in that space, rather than try and help these kids get away from vaping, now you're just pushing them to an alternative that's even worse for them in the end. Better off of just slapping them on the hand and letting them vape. So apparently the original ban was backed by the American Heart Association and passed in June of 2018, and it was all in an attempt to make tobacco products look less appealing to children and younger adults. Well, first of all, vaping is not a tobacco product. As much as you want to argue that point, the nicotine very well could have been extracted from the tobacco plant, but that doesn't make it a tobacco product. It's not the combustible element. It's not the leaf. It's not any part of the plant that is being burned and inhaled and sending carcinogens and smoke and tar into your lungs. They also moved forward with the legislation under the appeal that Juul was intentionally marketing to teens via their flavors. And I think that that's kind of always been an argument. I think that's one argument that even the average vapor would probably stand by and say that, Juul kind of sensationalized their product, obviously, to get it into tons of hands, made it look attractive, appealing, better for you than smoking, convenient, concealable, portable, all that good stuff. And kids are like, they're like, oh, shit, I can just stick one in my pocket. Nobody will even friggin' know, So I guess you could say that maybe there is some credence to that. But based on this data that was collected, though, this is even after everything was said and done, they've been doing some polling, and they've obviously been surveying inside the schools, or at least polling teens to that effect. And it said that based on the data collected, some experts are now raising concerns about the negative effect of the flavor ban. The data shows that some teens who would have only ever vaped have now switched to traditional cigarettes. So they took the vape away from them. They banned the flavors. Now, granted, these kids could have gone to tobacco-flavored vapes. I mean, I think from a Juul perspective, menthol was still allowed.
Yeah.
Mint got taken away, but menthol was still allowed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the kids didn't continue to use Juul, though, which is interesting to me. Like, they didn't go, oh, let me try a tobacco-flavored vape, or let me try a menthol-flavored vape. They just straight shot went right to cigarettes. Is it because they're easier to get? Maybe because laws are stricter? I don't really know. The microscope was on them a little bit stronger. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The report published by the American Medical Association, and this is this report was published by the same organization that favored the flavor ban. Okay, think about that for just a minute.
Yeah.
The report published by the American Medical Association, which is peer-reviewed, shows that high school students' cigarette smoking habit more than doubled after the ban when compared to other major cities. So I can't answer to, and they didn't specify which cities they were specifically talking about. I'm going to guess Los Angeles, San Diego,
the major ones, Sacramento.
Cities within California.
Yeah.
Those cities don't have flavor bans, I'm going to guess.
Sacramento does. They passed theirs.
Okay.
Who else did pass there? Couples, San Francisco, and then a couple of the outside cities around San Francisco tried to ban it. Well, Oakland did, right? Oakland's out. San Francisco's out. Marin County's out. Sac. Who else? There's quite a few. We have quite a few here in California. I'd have to look them all up, but there's quite a few, unfortunately. San Diego, right? You said San Diego.
No. This was all based on San Francisco, and the study done by the American Heart Association regarding the smoking rates in teens after the flavor bans.
Yeah.
So, regardless of any arguments that are being made, the fact that kids, don't have vaping accessible for the sake of flavors, because this is really about flavors. It's not the fact that vaping was taken away. Yeah. However, the argument being made is you can take away the vaping, if that is the side you want to play. But the bottom line is that the kids are now turning to cigarettes. So we can throw percentages out, or we can throw out all kinds of measurements that might make sense to somebody. But the kids are now smoking carcinogens. It's combustible tobacco, which is putting tar into their lungs, introducing up to 4,000 different carcinogenic chemicals into their bodies. And a fact that we know is 1,300 people die every day from smoking. We know that up to 500,000 people die yearly from smoking. So you can place blame where you want to blame, but without sensible regulation, you can demonize whatever you want. I mean, that's your personal choice. If you don't agree with something that someone does, that's on you. You don't have to. It's not the epidemic that everyone's making it out to be. All right, 4% of the total number of youth in America are trying vaping. These are not even kids that are vaping on the regular. This is just a trendy thing that had a high nic level, and they're trying it out. Okay, so fine. So now you've increased regulations, 21 and up. All right, fine. Okay, the kids shouldn't even be having it to begin with. It's illegal. Why are they getting their hands on it? Because it's trendy, because it's fashionable, because it's taboo, because it's a forbidden fruit. Okay, so people can make all the arguments they want, but these kids would have been much better off vaping now that they're turning to cigarettes. So you took the one thing that was better, that was safer for them, not better. Let's not prescribe. I'm just saying was safer for them, and now they've gone to combustible cigarettes. Now you've got an even bigger issue on your hand. Because now you're going to have people addicted to something that is going to effectively kill them, or could effectively kill them. And the percentages and the odds of it killing that kid are much higher than any other percentage you can throw out. Yeah. Much higher. We have proof of that over decades of research. Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting argument if you want to get into that. However, I will go on with the article and say that the study revealed that the chances of students in San Francisco raised to 6.2%. However, here's your comparison, John, dropped to 2.8% in New York and Los Angeles. Yeah. The American Heart Association believes that the report this is what American Heart Association is saying, and this is their justification for anything that might counteract the study results, is they said that American Heart Association believes the report may be too premature in its findings. And the reason why they state that is because that the ban was passed in 2018, but the policy didn't actually go into effect for a full calendar year, almost April 2019, which would not have captured full implementation of the policy. But irregardless, they still have a number that they're working with where they can determine that kids, and who knows, these could have been dual users as well.
Yeah.
But they're claiming that the study is based on what was the term used? Only ever vaped.
Only ever vaped, yeah.
Right,
Love
but
that.
kids are experimental anyway. We were all kids once, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the panel here. We were all kids, and we all did shit that we weren't supposed to be doing. And unfortunately, everybody in this chat group and everybody on this panel got hooked on cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, there's risks in anything other than clean air. I don't think there's one vapor on this planet that would acknowledge the fact that we realize that vaping isn't 100% safe.
Right.
Or 100% healthy, let's put it that way. We do recognize the fact that it is 95 and significantly safer than smoking.
Yep.
Compared to, you can pull out all the data you want on smoking, and vaping will put it to shame.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of a tobacco harm reduction methodology for getting off of smoking, regardless of whether you do it for a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. The point is that you are engaging in something that's safer for you than smoking, with the intention of cessation. That's just the bottom line. Vaping was not meant to be turned into a fad.
Right.
That was supposed to be used as just some pastime for everybody to just enjoy.
Yeah.
And everyone here on this panel recognizes that vaping is not 100% healthy. Clean air is healthy. But I tell you what, I'd much rather have people off of smoking and not turning their lungs black and ending up with COPD and emphysema and cancer and dying in a hospital bed somewhere because they smoked themselves to death.
Yeah. And, I'm not sticking up for Juul, but we were in this boat before Juul. I mean, Juul kind of made it fashionable. They did make it fashionable. Maybe they lured their marketing team that they had lured some teens into it, but we were already down that road already. Before Juul even showed up. It was starting. So I think Juul just kind of pushed the envelope a little further, faster. But as far as, was this going to take place whether Juul was in business or not? Yeah, it was happening.
Yeah,
it was happening. And then I looked it up. Right now there is 310 locations in the United States that have banned vaping flavors.
Yeah, and I understand why they attack that stuff, because that's their argument, is that the moment you introduced flavors into the equation, you instantaneously introduced an attraction for kids. Yeah. Okay, but adults like flavors too. Yeah. So it's a pretty piss poor argument when we're both eating the same kinds of ice cream, we're both eating the same kinds of friggin' fruity cereals, we're still going to Starbucks and getting our sweet and sugary coffees and all that shit.
Yep, Tom still eats his Fruity Pebbles.
I pour the milk in first.
I think
you can say what you want. We're still on the air. Anyway, it was never brought onto the market to be for kids, and frankly, it was illegal from the moment it started. So any little 13, 14-year-old that's vaping or trying to get his buzz off of a vape, it's illegal. He shouldn't have it in the first place. That's the bottom line.
Irregardless.
All right. Yeah, it's not a word. It's not a word. I know it's not a word.
Tim knows.
I know, and I said it, but I would not have typed it. So, anyway. All right, I'm going to finish that article on one final sentence, and I'll just say that the Yale researcher that was involved in this study, she did acknowledge one, I think, very important point, and this is where I'd like to leave this particular article, is that in promoting regulations to reduce youth vaping, policymakers need to be careful not to create incentives that increase conventional tobacco or cigarette use. And I think that that's a very valid point. And I think that by killing the flavors and whatever on the nick cap on that, that's another story. But I think if you take away the flavors and you leave people without a product that they have attached themselves to that helps them stay away from cigarettes by giving them basically the same vape with a tobacco flavor or something they don't want, they're not going to want that. Yes, that's true. I live down south. I'm down here in Georgia. I don't even know how Georgians talk. I probably sound like an idiot. Anyway, that's the two articles in general. And then the last one, Brian, can you give me some background on this one? Because I believe it from an advocacy standpoint, this is important. I'm going to encourage everybody. I don't think this is aimed at businesses alone. I think this is basically just a collective survey to send off to major shippers. This is driven, correct me if I'm wrong, I could not find it on his Twitter per se, but this was driven by Greg Conley. Gregory
Is there a
Conley.
link
Yep.
for this?
Yeah,
So-
the link is in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the background behind this is he wants to kind of gather up information, how it's affected everybody else, the whole shipping endeavor right now. It was
May.
passed on from.
Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, it was initially passed on from Greg, and then I found from a few people I know. One was Lindsay Stroud, and the other one was Matthew Salter, were putting on their Facebook and requesting people to write in there too. You don't have to have a business name, but ideally, like if you do have a business, it's really going to affect you far more than it does individuals. So with that being said, like apparently this is supposed to be collected and then passed on to what they're trying to do is with work with the government and with the shipping people, whether it be USPS, UPS, FedEx, all that stuff, and show them like how it's going to affect everybody. And something as simple as just one little ruling standing or like the PACT Act, is how big and wide this is going to affect more than just one person.
Right. Okay, and that's good stuff. And so what I think is I think everybody, their link is in the show notes. I'm sure Brian can grab it from there. Anybody here can grab it. It takes for 2 minutes to fill out. Basically, all you're doing is you're just putting your email address in here, your name. If you don't have a business, I just put NA, not applicable. Your location, where you're from, your city and your state, and your phone number. And it even says right here, your email address and phone number will not be included in the letter. But I, put this together, and this is some form of a petition, and I think that it's worth filling out, because I do think that the shippers need to understand the negative impacts. I mean, even if we have to deal with increased costs, signature fees, those are all allowances within the PACT Act. It is going to impact people because there are people that are immobile, people that can't get to standard vaping channels like vape shops and places like that. Older people who rely on getting all of their products at home. I mean, not just vaping products, health products, foods, things like that.
Don't forget us folks out here in the country.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the people that have to travel long distances to finally get to places like that. So at any rate, in that sense of the word, I think it's worth at least filling this out. If everybody here in the chat could go ahead and fill that out and just get it over to Greg, he'll submit it to major shipping companies. So I would guess that includes USPS, UPS, FedEx, all of the DHL, all of the major players in the shipping, all in the shipping sphere. Anyway, that's it. That's your advocacy for the evening as well. And thank you for your time. And I appreciate each and every one of you. There's your news.
There is the news. Oh, 75% tax?
Throw the papers, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I said throw, not tap.
Yeah, I knew it was high. I didn't realize it was 75%. Wow.
Well, there's a lot of states. Well, even in other states, I think it was going to go somewhere up into the neighborhoods of 90-something%.
It'd be more than a pack of cigarettes. That's
Can, may, might.
right.
Yeah,
Might.
there's all kinds of we don't knows.
I don't know.
Until you can come back with evidence that it's
Irregardless,
irregardless of your commentary, there's no proof. There's absolutely zero proof to even substantiate those comments.
Oh man.
But we know smoking can and will kill you.
We know 100%.
We know this. Yeah, there's absolutely no disputing that argument right there. So you can, may, might, probably, could, whatever all night long.
Yeah.
Go read the Royal College of Physicians study. Go read the Cochrane Library studies that prove. Go show the reversal of COPD effects that were done by the Cochrane Library, which takes no funding from counter interest groups or lobbyists. These are researchers and scientists that do independent studies for the betterment of health of an entire country, with no slant at all. Go read those studies.
I want to weigh in quick.
Yeah.
I love it when Tim gets angry and spicy.
265.
Get him, Tim.
We can go all night. That's all I got to say.
265.
Tim.
265, Tom. You said you wanted to weigh in. I'm taking a wild guess. 265.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I stepped on a scale.
Yeah. Just you gotta love Truth Initiative followers and PAVE followers and all these people that just follow all the antis going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, our studies and research doesn't count.
No.
As far as
We're all a bunch of dumbasses who just sprouted up out of the earth and just figured out that it's just it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Whatever. What, Vern? Bro, this is a tobacco harm reduction show, and your commentary is unnecessary. So you can just go watch an anti-vaping program and talk in your bubble. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, here's the thing. You can't say it's just like it because it's actually not.
It's not, because we're not burning anything. There's nothing.
Right. But
go ahead,
right.
Brian.
But what I'm saying is that what he's saying is that it's just like smoking, which is not. It is actually. It's
not even
been
smoking.
proven that it's not.
It's
And breathing in traffic fumes is entirely different. If he wants to go on the scale of saying that it's not good for your lungs or it's not safe for you to be doing, maybe like that's only like a little inkling that he's got. I mean, breathing certain types of air, certain types of polluted air is not going to be good for you either. So I mean, you can't take that stance.
I'm waiting for the popcorn lung argument.
Yeah, popcorn lung, LA
Corey,
air.
I highly recommend Fruity Pebbles for a midnight snack.
Oh, heck yeah. Just a handful. Just a handful, though. Just a handful.
With some marshmallows. Just mix it up a little bit.
Well, all I got to say is he can yammer all he wants, but it's not swaying anybody's opinion here because we've all done our own independent.
Yeah, you came to the wrong live show to spout
your. The best way, all Vern's doing is looking for attention, and that's what we're giving him. Let's just ignore him. He'll go away.
Yeah.
He can spout his nonsense. We know better. He'll go away. He's just
anyway. I had to get that out. I've had a bunch of angst building up working on a website for like 4.5 days. So I needed
Tim,
to
do you
unload.
need to do my segment of what's
I needed to
pissing you
unload.
off?
I apologize to the panel because I got a little heated. I got a little heated there. But I'm clear in my thought, and I'm clear in my study, and I'm clear on the evidence and the information that I've read.
There you go.
Actually,
we'll send you the link, Vern.
Yeah,
we'll
Vern.
send you the link.
Don't put Vern on here.
Actually, what Mallory just said, it's not as good as just oxygen going into your lungs.
Right.
Well, here's the thing.
This is
real quick.
95% safer than cigarettes.
Tom, listen. Here's the thing. The air that we breathe is not pure oxygen. Okay, it's not.
Right.
It's never going to be, and never will be.
No. It's a mixture. Even the oxygen we get in
it's like 70% nitrogen is what we breathe.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on.
Yeah, Brian. Even the air that
carry the two, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science.
All right, Vern, get your pad and paper out and listen to Brian.
Yeah.
Write this down.
It's about 70% nitrogen is actually what we breathe.
Yeah.
It's not all pure oxygen. So the whole argument of people saying that it is pure oxygen that we breathe, it's not. Okay. If you actually breathe pure oxygen, you will die.
You die.
Yep.
That's why people on ventilators die.
Yeah. So the whole fact of people saying that we have to breathe pure oxygen in order to live, they're completely wrong and falsified. So with that also being said, you can also say that the air we breathe can kill us because if we actually have more oxygen than we actually need, we'll actually die.
Yes,
Well,
I
right,
understand all
but
that.
we have pollution and other things that we
Right.
breathe in on a daily. I mean, 70,000 people die annually just from secondhand smoke from cigarettes.
Yep.
So I mean, that's a factor in it as well. And I'll go back to a previous statement that I made. We can make all the arguments and the probablys, can, might, should, whatever, could, woulds, whatever. The point is that people who vape, legitimately people who vape, okay, I'm not talking about the kids chasing a buzz with 12 joules shoved in a styrofoam cup trying to catch a buzz, okay? That's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
This show is completely about tobacco harm reduction. This is about people quitting smoking. This is about people
Right.
quitting a habit that has killed them, that have tried the nicotine patches and the gums and have tried Chantix and had horrible reactions to that, or even gone to counseling. You know, this is a methodology which has been proven to be 95% safer than smoking and is getting people away from those cigarettes, which we know can kill. And there's no vapor on the planet that will argue that vaping is 100% healthy.
Right, right.
Not one. None of us here in the panel or in the chat is going to make an argument to that effect. But what it is we are introducing significantly lower levels of those toxicants to our system, inhaling an aerosolized e-liquid, which is made up of four chemicals, or four things: nicotine, flavoring, PG, and VG. That's it. So, I mean, we don't call it water vapor anymore. You know,
No.
we don't use those dumb arguments. We're all a little bit more educated than you'd like to think. So,
Apparently, he doesn't, Mike.
Stick
because he
that
didn't-
in your
he
pipe
didn't
and
read
smoke
that,
it.
That particular study by the University of California in San
you
Bernardino,
said it was a
San
Boston
Francisco,
University
wherever.
study,
Yeah,
but we
go-
already know that that's
yeah.
a slanted. Most of those studies are slanted anyway.
No, about the air in the shop being cleaner than the air
Cleaner than outside
the shop.
shop. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to smoke whatever Vern's smoking anyway in
Yeah.
this pipe.
Exactly. I'm perfectly fine with my vape, and I'll continue to advocate for it and for people
Exactly.
who are using it to get off of smoking. That's
Well,
really
Mike-
what the bottom line
Mike
is.
Mike has a good point here that there was a study. This was in California, if I remember correctly, John. That
Yeah. It's the one I was just
in the
talking about, I
vape,
think.
yeah, in the vape shops, that the air was actually cleaner inside the shop than it was outside the building.
True.
Yeah, and they tested it, and the entire shop was clouded,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was still cleaner than the
Like
air
an old
outside.
chemist's office.
Yeah.
I don't
Anywho,
remember. I don't
go worry about
remember what-
opioids, Vern.
Yeah.
I don't
PC
remember what college did that one, but I do remember that study, Brian.
Yeah, I can't remember. Tim's actually brought it up on a couple of past news and advocacy reports about the air quality and in some of the vape shops that were done on those studies. It's even been on Grim Green's podcast. He's talking.
Yeah,
about
when
it
it first
as
came
well.
out, it was on
Yeah.
Grimm's
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have haters. I'm glad that they come because obviously he learned his lesson and left. So
No, hold on. Let's see if he's still here.
he left. He left.
Participants. Aw, he did.
Oh, he
Well,
left.
whatever.
Yeah. He had no point to argue anymore. I mean, he just wanted to come in, get a rise out of us, and then go take off and hide.
Yeah.
He
Well, like
thought
I
he had a
said,
leg to stand on, and then Tim come by with an axe and just cut them bitches right off.
cut him down the side. Well, all I'm saying is that it's unfortunate. I mean, you know, we vapors can be trolls too.
We're pretty good at it.
We're not void of that on Twitter.
Yeah,
But that said, you know, I just don't appreciate someone coming in and slinging these loose facts around like they're actual facts without actually having anything to back it up.
He plays a doctor though. He plays a doctor online, Tim.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I've played doctor before.
Hey, Tim. Maybe he stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
He could very well have. Who knows? So, Rook, I want to tell one more quick little story, and it was something that I saw on Twitter the other day because I do spend a considerable amount of time looking for stuff to talk about over there against the antis. But there was a picture shared from, I think, a Twitter post. I wish I still had. As a matter of fact, here.
It better not be the Fonz.
No, it's not the
The
Fonz little fish.
Fonz?
Actually, I will have the comment because I replied on it, but it was shared by some people. Hold on, tweet. I'm going to
pipers?
share this. I'm going to share this real quick.
Some people.
Right here. Where'd it go?
I don't know. I don't see
All
it
right.
yet.
All right, here it comes. I'm going to share my screen. Here we come. Share screen. And share screen. Okay, so this was this is obviously on Nextdoor. I don't know if people know about that. HOA people, Mike Pels, we know about Nextdoor. It's usually an alternate page for communities that are in your area, right? So it's kind of like, a place for people to go and post stuff. So there was somebody screenshotted this and put it up on Twitter, blocked her name out of it. But it said moms of middle school boys, and she goes down this list of, she's like in Apex, that's district, that's housing community, or no, she lives in Shepherd Vineyard. I don't know what Apex, maybe the school or whatever. We have a lot of young people vaping. Signs to look for. Now, and this is where everybody kind of chuckled at her. New friends. Okay, so if you start hanging around with the seedy crowd, you might be vaping. Frequent use of air freshener.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Taking a bath in those or what?
I don't know. Taking a book bag everywhere. Here was the funny one. Now, this is local, obviously. So hanging out at Pizza Hut. Apparently, all the vapors hang out at Pizza Hut.
All right,
So if your kid wants to run up to Pizza Hut,
nobody beats the hut.
yeah, strange Uber charges on your bank statement. Now, I don't know if that means things getting delivered or the kids jumping in Uber to go to the C-store or Pizza Hut. I don't really know what that
Probably
really
going
means.
to Pizza Hut.
Unusually tired, which that's something else. That's not vaping.
Yeah,
Nicotine's going to give you a bit of a rush. And suddenly walking everywhere. Hey, man, the kids aren't in front of the computer. They're actually out getting some exercise, but apparently that leads to vaping. So she finishes with, be on the alert. Don't be afraid to search their book bag, their rooms. On their phones, a lot of them are using Let Go to buy. I have the names of a few boys that have been vaping. PM me if you would like more information. Okay, so the majority, like 90% of the comments up to that point were all, oh, she's a Karen. Oh, Pizza Hut. Like people were just kind of like ripping her apart for sounding like someone who was, being a nuisance really and kind of ruining it for the vaping crowd or whatever. But I won't necessarily share my commentary on that particular thing, but it was to the positive actually. And I would say, well, you know what, you guys can say, despite her coming off like a Karen and listing some odd reasonings for why kids might or may not be vaping, the point is she's being a parent. All right, and this is something that all of us vapors get in every chat column and every thread and comment back, against the antis and legislation. Is like, no, it's the parent's job to parent. And so I recognized her for her parenting, which is what this should be about. This mom should have her nose in her kid's business and figuring out where her kids are going to vape and what they're doing when they're trying to sneak that shit. So kudos to her for being a parent and being an example of what half of the argument is all about. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
I will give her credit on being the parent. But she's also kind of making me want to go to Pizza Hut, and my closest one's a pretty far drive.
Now, if I was the CEO of Pizza Hut, I'd be a little bit upset. I would go and make her take that down. I would. I'd be just like, you're going to associate us with this problem with teens. Now Pizza Hut is a problem. I would be upset if I were Pizza Hut and she wrote that down, unless there's something going on in that community. Maybe there's some guy that just hangs out at Pizza Hut selling vape stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to guess, Mallory, that, she probably did catch the fact that her kid was vaping and then probably looked at his habits. The fact that he had some newer friends around that he hadn't had before, and then kind of tried to piece all this together and figured out he was always asking to go hang out at Pizza Hut. And so she just assumed that the new friends were, that was the safe place to go kind of get shady and vape in a corner or something like that. So, okay, she's a little naive. Let's give her, let's say that much. But, she's still being a parent. She's cracking the whip, and that was really where I saw the positive side of this, and not everybody just making fun of her for sounding like a Karen. Anywho.
Yeah. It's just
Tim,
that alley. Go ahead, Brian.
Did you, by any chance, take a look at the other picture I sent you? One of California paying people to vape?
Yeah, I
It's-
saw that, and that's not uncommon. That's been done before by anti-vaping organizations. They're trying to put together like kind of a propaganda campaign, and what they'll do is they basically will pay people to be actors. Like they probably
Right.
won't even get people that are actual vapors in general. They'll get idiots. People probably never even touched a vape. They're like, "Ooh, I can make some cash."
Make 12
Saying I
bucks an
vaped and
hour.
it sent me to the hospital and I was on a ventilator for 3 weeks or whatever. So yeah, that's happened before too, Brian. I think I've seen a couple other casting calls like that for a commercial, like a video they want to film or something like that.
You got to get the good-looking all-American kid in that picture, Tim. You know?
And where did they do it? California, where what 70% of the population is a starving actor working as a waiter or a waitress.
They're all tan and blue-eyed,
Yeah.
so they just got to go get those kids. You can't have an average-looking kid in a commercial for anti-vaping. You got to have.
But I will admit to the Pizza Hut thing, that's where we hung out after the football games. We all went to Pizza Hut. That was we all hung out there. We weren't drinking or doing anything bad. We were just hanging with our friends, and we'd bring our little boom boxes in, and we would listen to like bands like Accept and Def Leppard. We would just kind of. You got your balls to the wall, man. And then we would eat pizza and just hang and chill and drink soda and get fat. And that was what we did.
Yeah. Smoke your cigarettes
That is
in the alley.
not what I did on Friday nights after football games.
Yeah. Well, then Pizza Hut got trendy and we couldn't hang with. We had to go to Godfather's down the street. That was
Godfather's.
Yeah.
we
Can't sit
usually hung
there
out-
and play Pac-Man anymore.
Yeah.
We usually hung out in a field with a big fire and some beer and bad choices. Good
Mine was
times.
Before I started driving, for us, it was the bowling alley.
Yep, I spent a lot of time in the bowling alley
we
too.
didn't have one close enough that we could all get to.
Yeah.
Like when we were all too young, we were walking everywhere. So
Well,
we didn't have
that
one.
bowling alley still had the old machine, the old cigarette machine.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Ours
really,
did too.
Yeah, it was really easy to go in there and just grab a pack of cigarettes for 75 cents.
Right? Ours, I think, were like a dollar or two.
I still tell the story. $2 got me a Snickers bar, a 44-ounce soda, and a pack of cigarettes. That I'm dating myself, but for $2,
Christ, you're old, man.
I got all three of those things every day with $2: a 44-ounce soda, a Snickers bar, and a pack of cigarettes on my walk to school.
I remember hanging out at the bowling alley one night. My buddy passed out on the pool table, and we just played pool around his dumbass.
Oh God!
My first date was at Pizza Hut. My very first date.
Oh,
Yeah, with her name was Vicky Garn.
I could see Tim order whatever you want. Order
But
whatever you
then my stupid neighbor, I don't know if he was employed by my mother. My stupid next door neighbor came up there and was hiding in one of the booths on the other side of the restaurant, looking over. It was almost like, and then he came over and sat with us, which was even weirder. It was like a scene out of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was like, I was on the date, and then Mike Delone, what is that his name in the movie? Mike Damone.
Damone.
Yeah, Damone comes over and sits down because I did have my wallet. Anyway, okay, it's another story for another day. I didn't have a coupon for that date, Becky. I did not have a coupon for that date.
They didn't have coupons back then.
No, I just remember when we went, we ordered like a large pan pizza or whatever, and I think we each ate a slice each or something.
Yeah.
That was
We had all this
that was
pizza.
always the
Oh,
best
sweet.
when the pan pizza would come out and they'd set it down and it's
Yeah.
still sizzling and
Yeah.
it's it's
Yeah.
gonna be nice and crunchy in the bottom and everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as you bite into
I
it,
miss
the roof of your
that.
mouth
Great memories.
burnt.
By the way, the relationship with Vicky didn't work out. So.
It didn't last.
It was a brief relationship, very brief.
It was probably the date at Pizza Hut that did it for you.
You probably should have taken her to Applebee's or something.
No, Becky, I didn't get a kiss on that night. No, I think we were both wicked noobs at the whole thing, and I think both of us were super nervous. So, yeah.
Tim was just too rocker for her.
No, my mom and dad would never let me grow my hair long.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they thought that me looking mainstream was gonna not turn me into some monster that I never turned out to be anyway. Now look at me.
Now
So,
look at
so
me.
Tim, when you went on your date, like, did each of you guys get like your own like personal pan, like
No.
pizza
We
and
ordered
disposal
one. We
thing?
ordered one massive pan, round
It
pan
wasn't. It
pizza.
wasn't the Bigfoot pizza, was it? It was like an actual like pan.
This is starting to turn into the Friday BS show, man.
It's a Tim dating show. Anyway, get back to vaping. No, we ordered one pizza for the both of us. Anyway, but see, but Becky knows. See, yes, the jukebox,
The
yes,
jukebox.
the video games, yes,
All
all
the
that,
video games,
all
the
that.
jukebox. That was, the pizza parlors. Not
Pizza.
Yeah, they weren't like they are today, where you just go in and grab your pizza and leave. Back then, you had booths, tables, you had arcade games. It was
They were
it was
fancy.
it was truly a family atmosphere at the pizza.
And you could
place.
actually smoke in there while you were in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, back when you could smoke in restaurants.
yeah.
It never failed. Anytime I'd sit down at a restaurant when you could smoke in them, you'd order your food, you'd be sitting there waiting, you'd be like, I'm going to have a cigarette quick. And as soon as you light that sumbitch, there's
The food comes.
yeah, every time.
They're
Yep.
rich kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
trust
like
me,
like the
I
pizza.
didn't come from
The
the rich
pizza
part
used
of
to be
town.
like wide open, and they would have like smoking and non-smoking sections, but they were like half on one side, half on the other.
Yeah, it was like a half
And you're like,
wall.
this is just the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah,
Because it's gonna go anywhere anyways.
yeah.
Yeah, you should. Now that I think about it, Tim, see, you should have took her to the roller ring.
You know what? We had one of those, but again, it wasn't close. We were this. I think I might have been 12 or 13 when that happened. So we were like, my mom was almost like, no, you're not going to go on a date. You know what I mean? But I think she kind of understood that it was pretty harmless at that point. So anyway, enough about me.
Karens have been around a long, long time.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
There's always going to be Karens.
The Karens are the ones that saved the Married with Children. I think if it wasn't for that lady to bitch about the way the programming was for that show, I don't think it would have took off to become that night, because nobody knew about Married with Children until that lady went to Congress and was trying to get it taken off the air. And then all of a sudden it became the #1 freaking show on TV. Dude.
Yeah. I just think, we can't completely dismiss the fact that, that parents should be involved in what it is that their kids are doing. I mean, and that's
Absolutely.
And one thing that I think works in some parenting situations, or at least it's shown to be successful, is the fact that, you get your kids to be open with you. I mean, kids are always going to want to sneak around and do stuff, but I mean, I applaud that woman for trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At least she's
yeah.
one of the old schoolers that, still believes in that.
At
stuff.
least she's not putting the blame on someone else or elsewhere or a
Right.
company.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
wasn't
she's-
like,
Well,
damn,
Pizza
Jewel, now my
Yeah.
kid's vaping. Now this is what I got to do. Yeah, I mean, she just took responsibility.
We talk about it all the time, Tim. We talked about the price, the amount of money that a kid is spending today for vape gear and for jewels and for pods. And I mean,
Yeah.
as a parent, how do you not ask if your son is spending $100+ a week on something? I think as a parent, you should know what the hell they're spending it on. I mean, $100 is it's a lot of money.
I agree, and the interesting part about that San Francisco article with the fact that the smoking rates had doubled. I mean, smoking in those cities is not cheap either.
It's
I mean,
$12 to $14 for a pack
right.
of cigarettes in San
So
Francisco.
you're right in the same Juul framework, minus the device itself to get started. I mean, where are kids coming up with $12 a pop? I mean, San Francisco is a pretty ritzy city.
Yeah, but there's it's a ritzy city, but there's a lot of people that are barely hanging on.
Well, true, yeah, right. And I guess my point is that like, what are parents funneling their kids that they can support these habits? I mean, granted, at 16 you can have a job, I guess, and you can work part-time at the Subway and afford your cigarettes or your whatevers. But I mean, younger kids than that, they don't have that kind of coin.
Yeah, even if the kid's 16, he's working part-time, but at the end of the week, he's still asking you for money. I think as a parent, you should be thinking to yourself, okay, where did you just spend your whole check on? Go ahead, Tom.
Stacy, being a cigarette dealer at her high school. Shame, shame, shame.
Was.
I was.
Yeah.
Well, she's out of high school now. That's a friend of mine.
She's not fronting Marlboros on the corner today. That's
Well, I don't know. She might be.
That's not cheap. And you think of what the kid has to smoke as far as a pack of cigarettes to get what he was getting from that Juul. You know, if your son is vaping 2 Juul cartridges a day,
Yeah.
you know, that's equivalent to how many packs of fucking cigarettes.
Yeah, well, it's what they say. 1 pot is 2 packs.
Yeah.
So technically, you're
Yeah.
getting just shy of a carton in 1 pack, and if they're killing
Yeah.
2 a day,
Yeah, dude.
that's just insane. There's no way.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how they were affording that. I mean, I know that I had read somewhere that some of the kids at school were getting the universal pods from
Right.
like Alibaba or eBay or wherever they could find them, and then they were filling them on their own and
Yeah.
then selling them for like $5 a pop out of their book bags.
Right.
So that
Or do what Stacy did.
But
and,
that
you know,
kid,
a puff of smoke.
but that kid shouldn't be punished. He shouldn't be punished for that.
No.
No.
He's just trying to make some money.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's an entrepreneur. He's an
Yeah,
entrepreneur.
He's trying.
and
Yeah.
investing in the capitalistic way.
Yeah, he's
Well,
he's a
drug
he's a-
dealers are entrepreneurs too.
Yeah, most of them give you the first one free to get you hooked,
Yeah.
and then it's so much, you know.
Yeah. No, that's the whole deal right there.
I think we should all closely follow the surveys and studies as more and more of these flavor bans and things get laid down across the United States, and let's see what happens to the kids. Let's see if they
Right.
start talking about a smoking epidemic with kids.
Yeah,
But that
here's-
just goes right to the wayside.
This is where I got that thing. I don't know whose page this is though.
Oh.
Whose page is this? Oh,
TobaccoFreeKids.org.
Yeah, that's who it is. And that was the list. I could put it in there if you guys want to go check that out. I don't know if you guys are interested. Maybe you're taking a summer trip. You'll know. You can use that to know if you're going to that specific city that you won't be able to get your flavors.
Look at California. I mean, look at how many cities.
3
in
columns.
Yeah, 109 in California alone.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
Yeah, 109 in Colorado's got 5. Massachusetts has got.
Illinois got 1.
Yeah, Illinois has 1. Chicago, Colorado has 5. So there's still quite Massachusetts. Yeah, Massachusetts seems to have a lot as well.
Yeah.
168 in Massachusetts. So, Minnesota made the list. 19 in
19.
Minnesota.
Yeah, there's quite a few in Minnesota.
Yeah.
New York's got.
Any in Wisconsin?
I didn't see what there is no Wisconsin.
No Wisconsin, and no North Dakota.
And
See?
North Dakota.
The Midwest is the place to be.
Yeah,
Right?
Rhode Island.
Except for
Pennsylvania.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Well,
except
yeah.
for Minnesota.
Fuck Minnesota.
What about, and you shouldn't see Georgia on that list either, I don't think.
No, I didn't see Georgia on there. No.
Any Utah?
Bunch of rednecks here in Georgia. We just do whatever we want.
Nope, you got California, Colorado, Illinois, Massachusetts.
So we're looking for 2 in North Carolina and Utah.
Minnesota, Montana, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and that's it.
So
Those
no
are it.
Utah
keep
and
going,
no
keep
North
going.
Carolina.
You can
That's it.
scroll more.
That's
Oh.
it.
That's
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Double checking.
the total
Tom,
is
it goes in alphabetical order.
yeah, the total
Well,
is
it's still John.
It's 310 is the total. It's 310. All combined, all the cities. So just California seems to have the most. And
I'm not
Massachusetts.
saying you should, Stacy, but I'm not saying you shouldn't either. We'll just leave it at that. If you want to start dealing flavors.
Nobody's going to say no.
Right. We're not saying yes either, but we're also not saying no.
All right, Massachusetts has the most. All right, so we're not number one. Massachusetts with 168.
Weed vape though, that's a whole different ball of
And
no
how-
pun intended, ball of wax. But I mean that's you're talking about states that it's legal versus states where it's medicinal versus states where
Yeah.
it's totally illegal. And I don't even know if they've even attached the flavor element to that kind of stuff, even though they do call them fancy names like purple moose and all this other stuff that make it look attractive. I think that if you want to get into that conversation, Egghead, I think the one conversation that I would probably talk about would be the candy side of it, the edibles.
Right.
That's where I would probably say if you want to worry about the kids getting. It's not going to be the oil cartridges that might have fancy names, but I mean when younger kids see the gummies and rice cakes or like crispy or Rice Krispie treats and cookies and brownies and the lollipops. Like there's all kinds of stuff that's out there that is something that people have raised an awareness about that could be a general attractant for kids because hey, kids like candy.
Yeah, they like cookies.
Kids like baked goods. Especially tasty, flavorful ones that have chocolate chips in them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, John, Massachusetts has how many more than California?
California had 109 and Massachusetts 168. Yeah, California.
So how is California way behind in this?
Well, I don't know.
Because California should be on top, though, right?
Yeah, they should be, but they're not. Well, you got to remember, Massachusetts was one of the original states that started that whole campaign in the beginning.
Right.
It was New York. New York. Well, honestly, it was Michigan, right? Michigan started it all, but California, New York jumped the gun. Cuomo jumped the gun before her and actually started it, and then Massachusetts followed suit. So those were the three that actually got the ban passed, right? Michigan, New York, and Massachusetts were the original three. Yeah, they were the original three that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gretchen.
Yeah, Gretchen. That's what I was just trying to get that
Gretchen.
name out of. Yeah.
Yeah. Gretchen Whitmer. We call her Gretchen.
I think she was upset that Cuomo beat her to the punch.
But so what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what? only a few are going to get that one, Tom.
I know.
Vaping is safer, but so what?
So what?
yeah.
All right, guys.
I still can't believe he said that.
Yeah, you guys got anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
A quick rundown of what's pissing everybody off, individually.
Oh.
Personal
stuff.
off.
It
Personal?
starts with a V and ends with an N, and I want to thank that parasite for going against the name of the show tonight.
Oh, that guy. I was just gonna say packing is pissing me off.
Positive. What's the title of the show? You got this. A positive outlook on vaping.
Yes.
There's always that one guy.
That one guy.
Always that one
There's
guy.
always one guy. Maybe that's what drew him to the show tonight.
Yeah, we had that one guy on the show.
That son of a bitch.
Kick rocks, suck start a cactus, whatever.
Anyway, that's it. I got nothing. I got nothing.
We
else.
appreciate that, Daniel. And Daniel, check those guys out. Really good mods. Really good. And you saw they're very, very affordable. They're not at the $600, $300, not even $250. I think their top of the line one is $78.
That ain't bad.
No, and that's actually a really good price on a DNA device. And
Yeah.
people might ask what's so
Well,
awesome about a DNA device. Well, I mean, it's just a very
Well, that's
responsive
not
chip.
the ones with the chip in it, though.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, those were
Okay.
the.
What are we looking? 100 something for the ones with the DNA?
I don't know. I don't think
I
they
can
even,
look 'em up.
Yeah, I don't know if they had prices on the ones with the DNA chips because that's right off the bat. That's $100.
Yeah, just for the
they're-
chip.
Just for the chips, $100.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't
And
have
is
any. Oh, just the frames. Yeah, just the
I
frames.
agree with what Stacy said about that one guy. Sitting in his mama's basement in his chonies eating
Chonies.
cereal.
Yeah.
Not sure what a choni is.
Saving the
whatever.
world from all the evils
Yeah.
on Twitch.
On Twitch.
Now he's on Twitch, saving the world. Yeah.
Of course.
Or he's on. Sorry, he's not on Twitch. He's on TikTok. That's where all the SJWs hang out. They're all on freaking TikTok.
I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot, yes, but I've met some really cool people on there too.
No, I'm not taking away from the fun part of TikTok. There is some good content on there, but I'm just saying.
I don't think there's ever been a single time that I've gone on TikTok that I didn't laugh within maybe the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, same. Like there's some really awesome, hilarious content. I'm just saying, but in between those, there's at least 5 to 6 where you're like, oh my god, I don't need another
Right.
Yeah.
social lesson.
And I set the bar high because the one that has made me laugh the most is still this one with the chicken. That
Oh,
one will.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I even just thinking about that one makes me laugh because it's just so brilliant.
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? It's just so brilliant, and I don't know if he thought that out or
Yeah.
it was just someone he saw it and just came to him and was like, oh, I got to do this quick and record that. But and then him following the chicken around, asking him, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?" It's just
My favorite guy on well,
Oh,
probably
hold on. Let me explain it to Stacy. There's a guy standing on the sidewalk, and this chicken runs across the street. And the guy starts chasing the chicken, asking him why he crossed the road because he wants to get the answer from the chicken. But it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
It's just freaking
it's
hilarious.
a good play on the actual joke. Yeah, one of my favorites on TikTok. And I don't know. Forgive me, I don't know his last name. I'm sure most people have probably seen him, but his first name's Jesse, and he lives in Canada, and he always and the music always starts out with the Michael Myers like dee doo doo dee doo doo doo, whatever from Halloween or not? Is it Halloween? Yeah, Halloween. And he like busts in the bathroom and he just got his phone up, and then he asks these very kind of like interesting questions like. So if somebody, he goes, hey, yeah. So if somebody was sweating in a sweater, wouldn't they be a sweater? And then he like, it'll be just a bunch of those in a row where he's like thought them through,
My favorite TikToker is actually in the chat right now.
Who's
That's all
that?
I'm
Is
saying.
Daniel's in the group. What's up, Daniel?
Yeah, DJ LSB snuck
Yeah,
in.
Daniel.
You got here right at the end. We need
Yeah.
Daniel back on the show again.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Daniel, I DM'd you, Smile King 40, a couple weeks ago. If you ever want to come back on, let me know. Just look for it, Smile King 40. It should be in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we
we
love
love-
having Daniel on the show.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'd love to have you back on, and it'd be fun. Yeah, I can't find that video, man. But that video it's still every time I see it, I just crack up. It's just brilliant. That guy's just brilliant. All right,
Faux
guys. Faux show. Oh, I thought you were bringing the phone up to the camera.
No,
to
I'm
show-
turning. I'm turning my thermostat on. It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here.
Mr. Fancy with all the don't have to do nothing, just push a couple buttons on a phone.
Well, normally I would just tell a-hole
Yeah.
over here. to
He'll
turn it
he'll
down.
go, Alexa, dim my lights to
Yeah.
sexy mode 7.
Yeah.
That's
Some of
right.
us actually have to get up and go push buttons on a panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but phone works just as well.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
All right, boys. Tom, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's it. That's all I wanted from you. Brian? No, go ahead, Tom. I'm kidding. I know you got more to say. Clear your throat.
Yes.
There you go.
Thanks, chat. Everybody in chat for coming and hanging out. Thanks for Daniel for popping in at the last second. We definitely got to have you back on the show, man. It was great. It's great hanging out with you fellas again for the evening. And I'm thinking I want to go to Pizza Hut or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm making
think every-
pizza right after the show, dude.
I think everybody's going to Pizza Hut after this show.
Something.
Fucking Tim. Yeah. Everybody, you can DM Tim. No.
Yeah.
Brian.
Just want
Say
to thank
goodbye.
everyone for coming on. Just great times in the chat here and great conversation actually. So yeah, thanks to everyone for coming in.
Dim the lights to Pizza Hut 11.
Yeah.
And then Alexa play 80s rock song, Def Leppard. Tim.
Yeah, Tim, not me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We love it when you guys are here every week. Thank you to Daniel for popping in and saying, hey, we miss you, Daniel. Sorry for my little tirade tonight. I just needed to unload, and we had just the right candidate. So,
Hey, better you than me this week, man.
Exactly. Hey, man, it's all good in the neighborhood. So, but thanks to everybody on the panel, and we're here for you guys. So keep on coming back, asking them questions, and engaging with us. It's all about community here.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yep. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to these three gentlemen right here for always being here for us every Wednesday for this show. Becky, I will try to get Pizza Hut to sponsor the show. Love you, pizza.
Might be a tough sell, but we'll try.
No. Well, once they read that thing that lady wrote, they can. I'll give them an opportunity to come on and clear the air. Pizza Hut. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again. We'll see everybody next Wednesday. If you have any, I'm going to put this out of here. Hold on a second. Let me find it. If you guys got any topics or ideas that you'd like for us to talk about on the show, email us, guys. We read our emails all the time, and we'll bring any ideas you have. Anything you want us to talk about, we'll do it here on the show. So even dating in the 80s, we'll talk about dating in the 80s if we have to. But
I'm a little light on that one because I was like up to 10.
Nobody wanted to kiss you then or now, so don't worry about it, Tom.
Be surprised, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see everybody next Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on the ZampleBox channel. Also, let's not forget one more thing, because we've been on one more thing.
There's always one more thing. See, Stacy kissed, huh?
Yeah, come find us on Facebook in our Facebook group page. It's what do we call it? Wednesday Night Live TV.
Yeah,
I love it. I love seeing that every day. I've been seeing a new person added to the page. Come on over. We love having you guys on there. You can have topic ideas on that page for us as well if you have anything. Stacy, go join the group if you're not in there. Go join. Give Tom hell. Give us hell. All right, guys, we are out of here. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see everybody next Wednesday.
All right.